Hi, welcome to this GitHub Action tutorial. My name is Chirag Parikh, and I will walk you through with this tutorial with hands-on labs. We're going to see use of the components of our workflow. So before we begin, let's just quickly have a recap on how did we end up here. Yeah. So let's just quickly see the study guide. So before I go to the next topic, if I just come out of the slides. And if we go to this hands up, this study guide, let's scroll up. So yeah, we started from here and we have managed to do all the domain, everything in the domain one. Well, not in domain one, everything in domain one first topic. And we are now in the second topic, use the components of the workflow. So these are the different topics we're going to go through with. Yeah. So without wasting your time, let's just jump on to the first topic, which is identify the correct syntax for the workflow jobs. So to do this, we're just going to jump back on the Visual Studio Code. So Visual Studio Code is here. So if you have been following my previous videos, you already have this repository linked with your GitHub, which is here. So this is my repository. So you already have this. Hopefully, if you haven't, I would recommend you to go and watch my previous tutorials. Cool. So uh, let's start. So on the Visual Studio Code, if I go back in here and create a new YAML file, I'm just going to say find problems. Okay, .yaml, and I already have a YAML file created, so I won't waste your time typing in everything. So it's very simple. I'm just saying this is the name. I have problems. It's running on the push on the branch main. In the jobs, we only have one jobs build, and it's supposed to run on the Ubuntu. And these are the steps it should take. So we know there is a problem on this one here, but we have to find it. So if I just save this, if you can spot it right now, it's good. But we want to just see what happens if we push this on the GitHub. So I'm just gonna open my terminal again and git add new YAML file. Oops, forgot my quotation. Push. Cool. So it's pushed on the GitHub. Let's see what happens. So if I go back in here, refresh this, the new one is here, and it straight away come up with the error saying added new, there's some problem. So it says invalid workflow file. You have error in your YAML syntax on line 17. So let's see what happens on the line 17. So you can see straight away that because I already have a GitHub extension on here, it's giving us the red line that there is a problem here. So what should be the problem here? So if you see what I if you don't just find easily, what you can do is you can see your previous workflows and just compare it with it. So if I just go back in here, and you can see, you can just check the syntax here. So on line 17 we have steps. So let's just check what happens in the steps. So you see steps, there is a problem in the kind of indentation on here. So what you need to do is select this and give one indentation, if I pronounce that correctly. And if you just compare that, so that should be okay, I think. Why does this next line saying So the name, it doesn't look a name. So what's the problem with the name? Mm, sorry here. Yeah, so the name is fine, but the problem is with the run, you see. So on the run should be just directly under the name rather than uh, after the name. So we have to do that. Yeah, hopefully that should be okay. Save that and just commit. It's fixed. Origin. Uh, so if we go back on our Visual Studio, our GitHub, go back in here. I have problem. There we go. And here it has supplied the correct name. It couldn't in the last push. And in the fixed section, let's see, it has built correctly and it has done correctly. Yep. So that's one of the problem we fix with the spacing. So the uses and the name should be under steps rather than in the same line. So this is the kind of question they will ask in the exam. They will ask you to identify the problem and they will give you options which uh, which will have the correct answer. So you have to just choose correct answer, but you have to know what is the correct answer. So that's one problem. Let's see if I can create a new problem and then we can fix that. 1 second, I have on a different screen. So where is that? So what we can do is we can create a multiple steps. So let's just copy this and copy that and paste it here. Just created lots of spaces. We don't want that, so we just yeah, that should be fine. I think because I gave the same name, that's why it is coming up like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a new name. So a new build maybe. So exactly same thing. No difference. We just creating a new build. Sorry, new job. So there's job number one, job number two. Or if you want, we can just change this. Let's just call it job number one, and just call this job number two. Now what we can do is we can create some kind of dependency between two jobs. So what I can do is if I find my notes, we can create something called needs. So we can say that job 2 needs job 1. Yeah, in theory it doesn't need it, but we can just kind of make it up. So it's the same as if you have used a Terraform or something. It depends on if you use the Azure DevOps. It depends on as well. So for some reason, GitHub Action has a needs. So we can say needs. So what we can do is we're going to put needs. So this is the job. Pa, 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 and we say pa, 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 needs, and we can say that it needs job 1. There we go. Hopefully that should do it. So let's see what happens here. So if I save that and commit and push, I'm not gonna do type in again. And if I push, so let's see what happens on the GitHub action. And it needs have error. line number 24. So let's see what happens on line number 24, which is exactly here. So why didn't it work? So needs supposed to go under the jobs rather than directly under the steps. So we have to move needs under jobs. So let's do that. So if I just move that here, and if I say job one, hopefully that should do it. And I remove that from here. That will make it happy. And if I save this, oops, and push that. And if we go back in, just to the code, oops, there you go. And it's now running, and you can see job one, job two. So job one is going to finish, and then job two will start running. Yeah. So let's see if that runs correctly. Just want to make sure. There we go. Job one has run correctly, and because job two needs job one, let's wait for the job one to finish, and job two is running. Yeah. So yeah, we saw a couple of problems with where you can put um, uh, different workflow components. So sometime in the exam, they will also ask you uh, have a branches just under on command. So you just want to make sure that you know the syntax of the workflow, that you have event, and then you have a what event you want to use, and then you have a branches and stuff. You can't have branches directly under the on. Same with the needs. You can't just have needs directly under the under the steps. It is supposed to be under jobs and jobs name. Yeah. So yeah, that's the simple explanation how to find that. Let's see what we have in our next topic. So our next topic is, one second, let's just take a look. Use the workflow. So identify the correct syntax on the workflow jobs. Use the job steps for action and shell command. So we have already used that. So we are using, let's see, one second. So now pause the video for a minute. Cool. In this topic, we're going to learn about use of the job steps for actions and shell commands. So without wasting your time, let's jump back on Visual Studio Code. One second. So if I go to Visual Studio Code, which is back in here, what is here? Okay. And if we just create a new YAML file saying jobs, um, job steps, and shell. And just do that as YAML. There we go. Cool. So rather than typing everything again, I'm going to copy and paste what I had already prepared. So one second. Cool. Got it. So if I just copy the code and paste it here. Now this is little bit different than what we had done previously, but again, almost same. So this is the name. We want to give it to the workflow. So CI workflow with action and commands. We are running on the main branch. No difference into that. Uh, and then in the jobs, we got two jobs. One is build job and another one is test job. So let's just take a look at the build job. So the build job is running on the Ubuntu latest. These are the steps within the build job. So step one is checking out the code. Step two is setting up the Node.js. So let's say if you have a Node.js repo and then you want to run the Node.js script, this is what you need to do. But we're not actually running the Node.js build, so we're just kind of setting up different steps. So you can see when you setting up the Node.js, you are using this action. Yeah, so we decided the name here. So in the previous, so if I just save this, in the previous workflow, let's say first workflow, we were just using directly. We weren't using the name here, so that's the only difference here. So we are using name before saying what actions we want to use. So yeah, this is the action we are using. And in the next step, we are saying installing the dependency, which is npm. So we in order to run the Node.js, we need to install the npm on the agent, and that's all we are doing here. Uh, and then we are building the project. Yeah, but you can see these are the shell command. This is the shell command. This is the shell command. So that's the topic. We want to run different multiple jobs, and we want to run multiple shell commands. Yeah. And in our second job, which is called taste, we are doing almost same. We are checking out and it's, you can see we have dependency on the build job. Yeah, so this is one of the kind of common theme which you will see in any kind of work environment where you will have multiple jobs and one job relies on the other job. So now again the same steps. We got the checkout code. We got the Node.js action. If I just scroll down, and it's using Node.js version 14, same as the previous job. And again, npm install. And in here, we are doing npm taste rather than npm run build. That's the only difference. We haven't got any Node.js code on our repo, so it's not going to do anything. But these are the steps you're going to need in order to run the Node.js command, our Node.js project. So let's just commit this. So I don't know why it is open PowerShell. Close that. Close that. Terminal. Terminal. It's supposed to open PowerShell, not shell. So okay. Git add git commit job steps and shell. And let's just push this. Origin add. Perfect. So let's just quickly take a look what has happened. 1 second. If I just come out, if it lets me go on to the Google Chrome for some reason, it's just blocking it. Why? Yeah, let's go on to a different screen. Okay, so if we just go on to the actions and where is my new job? Let's just disable workflow because we don't need that. And let's go back on Visual Studio Code. What did I do? I didn't commit it correctly. There we go. Now it should be pushed on the on here. Let's see what happens. There we go. And job steps and shell. So it's running the build job first, and then it's going to run the test job. Let's take a look at what's happening in the build job. Okay, so it now errored, saying that npm error. What is it? Done build. Uh, yeah, so it's looking for the package.json, and I we haven't got package.json on our project. So let's just quickly create that. Let's see what happens. So if I, and that's probably one of the requirement of the of running the Node.js. So let's just create this and then commit this. Let's see what happens. Okay, that's gone. Let's see what happens here. We should start running it again. There we go. Let's see in the build jobs. It's starting on the Ubuntu latest. Mhm. Yeah, sorry, I can't just pass empty. Let me just get something for this. One sec. So I have managed to get some simple text for the package.json. So if I just paste this, and if I just change something here, probably just my name here. Again, I'm not a Node.js expert, so don't think I've done that before, but let's see what happens. I need to do add first, one sec. There we go. So let's see if it likes it or not. Let's go back on the Google Chrome. Go back in here. So installing dependency, build job, push of cleanup. There we go. Hopefully that has done the trick. So we just needed some basic uh, basic JSON file for the Node.js command to run, but it has run correctly. So that's all we needed. Uh, we we are not worried about because we are not running any Node.js. We just want to make sure that we run the we have the multiple steps and we have shell commands within those multiple steps and that's run correctly. So that has run correctly. Let's see why it is failed on a test. If we can fix it, run npm test for a second. Yeah, there is a problem in the test, which is fine. That's what it's supposed to do. But our objective with this has done where we wanted to have multiple steps. We wanted to have different shell command, and we have managed to do that. So yeah, that's it on this topic. Let's see what is our next topic. So our next topic is use conditional keywords for steps. So let's see how we can do that. One second. So I actually have a small, so let's just disable the let's just disable this. So we don't want to run it every time we commit something. So click this three button, disable workflow. There we go. And let's just do a conditional keyword. So one second. Cool. So in this topic, let's see what we can do as example. So let's just create an, so just to kind of say that, so we are doing the use, we're going to do this use conditional keywords for steps. So let's see how to do that. So that could be a different kind of condition we can use. So if I open this page on this screen, so you will see. I just open that here, um, so you can see there are number of type of literals or uh, operators you can use in the condition, but let's try and use something very simple for now, and then we can go complex. Yeah. So if we go back on our Visual Studio Code again, and just create a new YAML file, simple steps condition.yaml. And oops, I think I created in a wrong folder, so I'm just going to try and move it. Move, yep, there we go. Okay, so I think I have very simple somewhere. Let's just copy that to start with. So if it allows me to copy, copy this, and copy paste it here. So yeah, this is the name, conditional steps workflow. We are saying we want to run on push on main or dev branch, and if there's a pull request on main branch, we want to run this workflow. We only have one job here called build, and it's running on the Ubuntu latest. These are the steps we have, similar to the steps we have done in the previous run. Uh, So we are checking out the code, we are setting up the Node.js, we are installing the npm, but just here where it says run build on main branch only. So what we are saying is that if we are running the workflow on the main branch, only then we are running the build, you know. So this condition will stop it for it to not run on the, for example, on the development branch. And if the push event is done, only then we are running the npm run lint, you know. So let's see how it goes. So if I just save this, and if I just git add git commit em pushing the simple step condition and git push origin. Cool. Let's see what happens. Okay, so if we go back to our Visual Studio, not sorry, our GitHub repository, we can see that it has been pushed, and it's now building and installing the dependency. So it has already done those steps by the time we have come here, which is good. It's erroring why? Because it says yeah, I hate all this npm thing. By the time we try and fix all that, we could do something else. So I'm just going to remove this for now. We don't want all that. Rather than we can just run some simple steps. So if I go on my maybe just first workflow and just copy this and just paste it here on this step. And make sure that it has correct and it has correct done as well. There we go. And what we can do is we can put this if condition just under this name. So we just do that. And yeah, I think that's it. We don't need all this for now. So we want to run this when it's on the main branch. you know. So if I just save this and if I just push that again, da, 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 and let's see. Okay, cool. So that's very simple, but it has done that correctly because it's echoed those comments because we have run it on the main branch. But let's see, let's just create a new branch and see what happens. So if I just do uh, check out branch, we're just going to say Dave, and we going to just do a new step. But there's no if condition on that step, so we just stay. And remove this if condition. Cool, cool. Branches. Um, so there's no condition here. So let's see what happens. So if I just save this and commit from the branch. There we go. So Dave is pushed. Let's see what happens on the GitHub. So commit from the Dave branch is here. We're going to see what happens in the build. So you can see run multi-line. So first step didn't run because we had this condition. But the second step, which is I should have just rename this properly from any branch maybe. From main branch only. There we go. So let's try that again. Named. And it's running it again. Let's see what happened. It's taking its time. So you can see from main branch only, it didn't run. I have typo here, but it did not run anything. But from any branch, it has run and it has printed whatever we have on that step. So yeah, this is so you can go kind of wild here and have a different kind of condition saying that if we have multiple jobs and if the previous job is successful, then only run this step. Or you can go, you have a variable, environment variable, and you want to only run the step if there is a certain value on the environment variable, you can do that as well. So yeah, this is just a simple example how to run how to run the steps on the conditional on a if condition. So yep, that's it on this topic. I shall see you in the next topic. Thank you. Hello everyone. So thank you for joining back. So our next topic is describing how actions, workflows, job steps, runs, and the marketplace work all together. So in most of our previous tutorials, we have already seen how the workflows, job steps, they all run together. But as this is the topic we have to discuss, let's just
briefly take a look before moving to the next topic. So what we're going to do is we're just going to use the previous example we had used to deploy different workflows on the on our repository. So I'm planning to just use this Terraform plan apply workflow which we had used in the previous tutorial. So if you haven't watched that tutorial, this is just part of the list. So you may want to go and check that out. So this in this workflow, you can already see we have used multiple jobs. We had used multiple steps, and we have also had the one job relying on another job. So first of all, what is the workflow? So the workflow is a set of like a command, or if I want to say workflow is automated process that GitHub Actions runs in response to specific events. So it's defined in the YAML. So as you see, this is the YAML file, obviously, and it lives within the .github workflow folder. Yeah. So that's just very simplified definition of workflow, and this is how a workflow looks like. If you want to see very simple workflow, I think we also have a kind of first workflow which is very simple. Just only have a very simple things. No kind of relying on a different jobs or no multiple jobs and those kind of thing. Our complicated or a little bit like a real life scenario where we have a multiple jobs. So job number one, which is Terraform plan, and job number two, which is if my cursor scrolls down correctly, job number two is Terraform apply. So that's the workflow and jobs. The next thing we want to see is actions. So GitHub Actions lives here. So if you go scroll up a bit, everything has actions. So this is the checkout action. This is the HashiCrop setup Terraform action. So now where does this actions coming from? So there is actually a marketplace. Let me show you. If you open Google Chrome and if you do github.com and if you do backspace and I think marketplace, there we go. And if I just remove that and just keep it marketplace. So this is the marketplace, and if you scroll down, these are all the actions. So this is where all the actions on our workflow comes from. So if you want to see a checkout action, you can just literally copy that, or we can just type that in, but I'm just going to copy it for now and paste it here. I think this is not the one which we are looking for. This is randomly created by other people, but what we need is the one which is verified by GitHub. So, oh, there you go. So you can see this tick box here, and that's kind of verified by GitHub, you know. So if we just go in here, and it will tell us how to use the action, what is this action is about. So like this action is checks out your repository under GitHub Workplace, so your workflow can access it, you know, as simple as that. So there are a number of actions here which you can use on your workflows. For example, upload artifacts, if I spell that correctly. There you go. And I'm looking for one from the verified one. Where is it? See, can't find it. Maybe I haven't spelled it correctly. Artifacts. Is that the one? No, no, that's not the one. Artifacts. It's just artifacts, maybe. Bizarrely, GitHub seems to be getting all other actions on the reserve and not the one which they have created. Let's just do. I don't know where they're hiding it or why they're hiding it. Maybe what we can do is go to github.com and go to actions maybe. So that's what has all the, there we go. And this is where all the action lives. So if we want to just quickly see artifacts, and yeah, there you go. Upload artifacts and download artifact. Uh, so if we go in here, hopefully they're given a view in marketplace. There you go. So there you go. So this is the upload artifact action, which you can use to upload the artifacts on your from your workflow. So as I said, there is hundreds of thousands of different actions here which you can use. So depending how you want to, what you want to do on your workflow, you can use that. So those are the actions. We can also release our action on the marketplace, but we will come to that when in our later sessions. And apart from that, what else we want to see is how the different multiple jobs work. So I already explained that there are multiple jobs here. You can have as many jobs as you like on the under the jobs section, and one job can be reliant on other jobs. So for example, we have Terraform plan job on the top, and we on the apply we saying that uh, it Terraform apply needs the Terraform plan job, so it will reliant on each other. And when it runs, hopefully I haven't deleted these. Let's see. GitHub. Chirag. Not this repo, other repo. Um, this one. If we go to work with events, and if we go to the workflows, and I think from plan apply. Sorry, we need to go to the actions just to see it. And plan apply, and this is what it run, and then you can see each other. One job is relying on another job. So yeah, that's very kind of basic information about what workflow is, what jobs are, what are the steps, what are the runs. So steps are this here. Sorry, I think I didn't show you. So yeah, these are the steps. So we are checking out the action. We are setting up the Terraform. We are running the Terraform init command. So this is like a just shell command. And then we are running the Terraform apply command. So these are the different steps we are taking. And then when it goes to the on the GitHub, this is how it looks like. So set up Terraform, Terraform init, Terraform plan. So yeah, that's it on this topic. See you in the next topic. Thank you for watching.
Hello and welcome back. In this topic, we're going to discuss about identifying a scenario suited for the using either GitHub-hosted runners or self-hosted runners. So GitHub allows you to either use GitHub Action allows you to either use GitHub-hosted runners or the self-hosted runners. So what are these? So have we used that in our previous examples? Yes, we have, but most of the time we have used the GitHub hosted runners. So we haven't started using the self-hosted runners yet. So let's just very, very quickly take a look at what's the difference and what kind of scenarios we come across, why we want to use self-hosted runner or why we choosing to use the GitHub hosted runners. So if I just quickly, so I put together a small table. So if I just scroll to my next slide, if it allows me to, one second. There we go. So as you can see in the table, uh, these are the kind of things we are looking for when we are planning to use the runners. So GitHub hosted runners are more pre-configured and ideal for this general CI/CD task, where the self-hosted runners are ideal for like when you want to set up something, customized softwares or something like that. It's the GitHub hosted runners are good for short running tasks. It's automatically scaling for concurrency, and the cross-platform testing if you want to test a same kind of scenarios on a different operating systems like Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. The GitHub hosted runners are based because you can just literally say that I want to use this runner, and the GitHub action will use that particular runner. Uh, so, and when it is come to the self-hosted, you actually have to kind of have those OS running either on the one of the cloud providers or somewhere on the local, or yeah, depending how you want to run those VMs or computers. So that's the kind of main difference. When you have a like high resource needs, I think the self-hosted runners are best suited because you can customize the hardware, you can customize the memory, GPU needs. Same when you have a compliance and security need, self-hosted is better suited for this compared to the GitHub-hosted runners. And cost control and high usage workloads. So, for example, GitHub-hosted runners are limited, so it will allow you to. So if there is a free minutes, it will allow you, and then you have to buy purchase the kind of further usage you may need, where obviously self-hosted runner as much as you like to use, so it will be a reduced cost. So if you're using if you have lots of GitHub actions running on your environment, the self-hosted runners is best suited for that. So let's just quickly look what's the pricing of the GitHub provided runners. So GitHub hosted runners. So for free, it will give you like this storage and 2000 minutes. But then if you have a GitHub Pro and free for the organization, it's a different. I think free for organization, free for individual is same. For the team, they will provide you 2 GB of storage and 3000 of minutes. But now this minutes is little bit different for the OS you are using. So for example, if you just scroll down, let's say if you're using the Linux OS, it's only using 1 minute. But if let's say if you're using the Windows runner, it's using 2 multipliers. So if you just have one Windows runner, it will use 2 minutes of that 3 minutes. It's of whatever the minutes it allows you to use. And when you go over this free limit, it will charge you at this rate. So that's why this is the kind of basic difference between the self-hosted runner and the GitHub-hosted runner. Just to kind of draw you your attention that this may be an exam question where the GitHub-hosted runner is only allow you to use one of these three operating systems, which are the Windows, Mac OS, and Linux, and it will use the latest operating system available. Where on your self-hosted runner, you can say I want to use Linux 7, or I want to you can say I want to use Windows 2016 or something like that. So that's the kind of difference here. So I think if we go back to our examples, work with events, we have seen GitHub hosted runners on all of our examples we had run. So for example, let's say first workflow, and when it says runs on Ubuntu latest, that's using the GitHub hosted runner. But we haven't hosted a self-hosted runner. So let's quickly do that. How to do that? So I have already kind of run it through on my local before kind of creating this tutorial. But let's see what happens if I try to rerun the same script. So in order to do the GitHub, self-hosted runner, what we're going to do is we're going to host that on our local Windows machine. So in order to do that, we have to go to our repository. So work with events, and then we're going to go into the actions, and then runners and self-hosted runners. So these are the GitHub-hosted runners. So we're going to go to the self-hosted runners and new runner, and then we're going to try and create a new self-hosted runner, and then we're going to choose Windows because that's my OS where I'm running this tutorial on, and it's 64 bits. So that's what I'm going to keep. So these are the command you have to run on your PowerShell in order to do the self-hosted runner. So I have already done this. So let's see if I go to PowerShell and open the separate screen. And if I do this, let's see what happens. Keep it here. So it's already there. So I'm already in the action runner. I have already done this, so it will just invoke the web request. So I don't want to do that. I have already done this as well. It will add this hash file. So I'm not going to do that as well. And I have already extracted and installed it as well. So you just literally need to run these three commands on your PowerShell. Yeah. So because I have run that already, I'm not going to do that again. After that, you configure with this token. So let's do that because thus you have to do it. So you can see something like this come up. Because I have run it with a different repository, I have to remove it. One second, let's just remove that. I think I have to remove it from first repository here, and I think if I go to the runners and if I go to self-hosted again, this is where I run an example before I came here. It's not allowing from there, so we have to go to actions, runners, and remove, and then run this command. One second, and run this here. What happened? Not recognize the component options. I thought is that. Is that? Let's try. Let's try. Config. Got CMD and remove. And then we just add this token separately. So why this command supposed to work, but anyway, that's good. So we removed it from the different repository and we wanted to run it for the repository uh, we are working with. So let's go back onto this repository again. Where was that? I lost it here. And I'm going to run this command again. So clear this out. There we go. So it's authenticated, it's connected. So it's asking the name of the runner group. I'm just going to keep it default. It's asking for the name. I'm going to keep it default. It's saying that these are the labels it's going to apply. We're going to see how these labels work in a minute. But if you want to add any additional label to the runner, you can do that. But I'm going to keep it default for now. And there we go. It's added to the work folder. It's fine. Setting saved. I don't want to run as a service. So says no. And that's it. The runner has been added. Now in order to run the runner, we have to run one more command, which is run cmd. There we go. There we go. Cool. So that's done. Now what we need to do is we need to on our repository. It's not the first one, the other one. Did I? It's there, but you can't see it for some reason. So what I'm going to do is just quickly close that down and come back it again. Uh, with events. Something when you have a multiple screens, this happens when it gets hidden somewhere. Just going to come back in here again, and let's create a new file. Self-hosted runner.yaml, and then we're going to paste the example I already have. So let's remove that thing. There we go. Okay, so this is a simple example where we're saying that this is the name of the runner. We want to run it on the main branch, and when we want to run it when push on the main branch, and we are saying that uh, this is the name of the job, but we want to say that it runs on self-hosted, so we need this label, and it's Windows label it's looking for, you know. So when this job runs, this is what it's going to look for in the runner section, and these are the labels it's going to look for. And then in the steps, we are just literally running a simple PowerShell command saying hello world, nothing else. And the shell is PowerShell. Yep. So let's just quickly push this. I think there's something else we have to do because I think there's a policy on my machine which won't allow to run the GitHub to run the PowerShell command remotely. So I have to allow that in a second, but let's come back to that. So git add git commit edit file to run. There you go, that's pushed. So let's see what happens in the on the action section. Let's see. So it hasn't come through yet. I don't. Where did I push? Ah, I pushed it on the div branch. That's fine. Let's just quickly copy this and push it on the master. I mean, but I'm not going to merge my div to master. That's it. So that's gone now. Hopefully, should see in a second. There we go. So it's a runner. It's trying to run this. So you see, it's trying to run the PowerShell command, and you can see something happening on your CMD. You know, it's trying to run the job, and PowerShell command completed with result failed. So let's go back on here, and it's saying, as I said, there's a problem on. It's not a problem. There's a restriction on the machine. So what I have to do is, if I just come out of this PowerShell for a second, Control C and press yes, and if I run the command, which I have it on my different machine, one second. And if I run this set execution policy bypass that for the processes. So if before doing this, let me just quickly show you. So if I do that, if I run this command, get execution policy list, you can see the processes are undefined. So by default, it's restricted and it's not allowing the PowerShell script to run. So what we need to do is run this command. Set execution process, and now if we run the run cmd to run our self-hosted runner. There we go. So it's running again. And what we can do is we can go back on our script and rerun this job. and hopefully come back in again, setting up the job. Let's keep this on here as well. We just succeeded. There we go. And what did it do? It's printed the hello world correctly. Cool. So yeah, you can see this is how you do it. And let's just close this down and clean this up and quickly put this policy back. So in order to put this policy back, we have to run. What was that? Not here. Let's paste this here, but we need to change local machine to process. There we go. Cool. So if we just list it again, should be restricted. Amazing. And then what we can do is just remove this runner from our, because if you're not using it, it's no point keeping it there. So I would normally just remove it. So I'm just going to disable this job for now. And I'm going to remove the runner. And in order to do that, go back in here. So runners will show up here, self-hosted runners. And if I remove, I need to run this command. So for some reason, I have to do it separately. So let's do that. Where is it not? Oh, not config.sh. Config. I think it's config.cmd. And yeah, this is, yeah. I hope GitHub changed this because it's giving an incorrect command. Someone may get this confused because SH would be more relevant on the Mac OS, you know. So yeah, that's how you. So that's the difference between the self-hosted runner and GitHub runner, and that's how you run anything on your self-hosted runner. So yeah, that's it from me. Shall see you in the next topic. Hello everyone. So in this topic, we're going to discuss about implementing workflow commands on the run step to communicate with the runner. So what are the workflow commands and why do you need to run it in the on the step to communicate with the runner? So I know it sounds a little bit confusing, but it gets easier. So the workflow commands are used by the GitHub workflows to run it on the run step to communicate with the runner. The commands are like setting up the environment variable, setting up the outputs, setting up the warnings and error message. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a workflow and then set all these variables and then use that to see how it works. Right. So just to quickly show you the documentation of these, uh, we just come out of the slide. And if we go in the on this section, and I will give the link in the description of the video. So workflow commands for the GitHub Actions, and these are the different kind of workflow commands. So for example, if you want to set up a warning message, this is how you set the warning message. And don't worry about this at the moment. We're going to do it practically on the actual workflow. And same with the error message. There's a grouping of log files. There's an environment variable as well, if I remember. Yeah, environment files. Yeah, this one. So this is very useful. So these are the kind of commands you can use to communicate with the runner. Uh, this is also exam questions. So they sometimes ask you like what will be the output of this command, you know. So you need to kind of know that for the exam and for your whenever you're going to use the GitHub action. So let's jump on to the Visual Studio Code. So I'm just going to create a new file. Oops, it allows me to. There we go. Uh, communicate runner.yaml. There we go. And I already have commands ready, but what I'm going to do is we're going to do it one at a time. So let me just go on my different screen to copy the file. So I don't want to don't want to waste your time to just type everything up. So again, same kind of format. We got the name, we got on push branch main, we got the name of the job, and we are running on the Ubuntu latest. And in the steps, we got first step is to check out the repository, and the second step we are saying setting up the environment variable, and this is the name with the hello world. Oops. And then we are adding it to the GitHub and env. So this is the special uh, kind of a name which is where you send your environment variable to. So it goes into the environment file, and then you can access it directly like this. So let's just quickly push this on the I think I have done it. And push you head. Cool. So that's gone. Let's take a look at the GitHub Actions. So if you go in here and they started running, let's click on that. It's running the job, and it has run that successfully. So what happened? Let's see. So this on the set environment variable step, it has set this environment variable, and let's see what happens on the print environment. So in the print, we just literally printing the environment variable. So let's see what happened. So you can see this value is hello world. So whatever we have set here, it's accessible here. Cool. So let's take a look at the next example, where we're going to set output and access the output. So this is 100% an exam question, because that did get asked when I was doing my exam. So let's take a look. I really hate that when GitHub Action does that. The indentation is annoying. That's fine, and that's fine as well. Cool. So again, what we are doing here is we are generating output and adding it to the GitHub output uh, variable, and then we are using that output. So let me just maximize the screen. We are using the output. So if I just save this and accessing the output like this. So steps. So these are the steps. And then we looking for the name of the steps or ID of the step. So this is the ID of the step. And then we are saying outputs of that ID. And then we are using the name of the output, which is we set it here, my output. Yeah. So this is again an exam question where they will trick you with saying that steps dot output dot IDs, but it's steps dot the ID of the step, and then outputs, and then name of the output. Yeah, if that makes sense. So let's see what happened if we save this and commit this. Do that quickly. Let's go back in here. So it started running again. Go in here. So it's waiting for the runner. It's got the runner. It started the runner, and it has finished running. So it obviously run those above step again, but we are interested into the steps because this is the one we implemented. So we have added this onto GitHub output, and when we accessing it, the output of this is in the output of the message, yeah. So it has successfully printed the output here. So yeah, this is how you access the output. The next thing is how to print the warnings and error. So let's see what happens when we want to print the warning and errors. So if we just go back in here, and if I manage to, let me just quickly copy it properly. So if I copy it like that, and if I paste it up here, yeah, there we go. So on the warning, you can see this is how you use the warning to print it on the runner, and this is just the example. It's just this example text file on line 10. This is the warning message. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can say whatever you like, and same with the error. This is how you add something on the error, and this is just the error message. So let's see what happens when you commit this on the GitHub. So warning and error. Got it in the history, so just going to use that. And hopefully that should start the new job. There we go. And looking for the runner again because we are too quick to come up here. And it's running the jobs and it has finished running everything. So let's take a look at what happened in the log warning step. So log warning, so you can see it's printed the warning as a warning here, you know. So this is a warning message, and yeah, so this is the warning message printed like that. And if we go to the error message, again, this is printed as an error message like here. So yeah, this is how you print warning and error message if you have to on the runner. And then the next and the last step on this is grouping the log output. So if I just quickly copy that as well and paste it here, and it lost the identification. One sec. There we go. So we are grouping the output here. Well, not output, but logs. So we are saying starting with uh, this sign, and then we are saying these are our group. This is the line we wanted to print, and this is the end of our group. And we are literally just printing that group here. Yeah. Uh, so let's see what happens. So, oh, sorry. So this we are not printing the group. We are just literally saying that this line is not part of the group, you know. So let's see what happens when we push this change on the GitHub. So if I go back in here and remove that line, adding group message. Origin. Right. There you go. So that's got pushed. Let's take a look on the GitHub what happened. There we go. It's running the job. Cool. So when we see the grouped output, so let's see how the grouped logs looks like. So starting with grouped log, and this is how the group logs look like. Line 1, line 2. And when you do ungroup message, it just literally prints like that. You know, so that's the kind of difference on using the group and not using the group. Cool. So that's it with this tutorial. Again, as I said, there are a number of different variables you can use, which are which are here. No, this is something I come across. This is not the one. This is not the one. This is not the one. That's not the one. And that's not the one as well. So it's that one. So yeah, this is the number of outputs you can use, and there are different things like we like setting a debug message or setting up output parameter and stuff like that. So if you like to go through all of them, you may want to, but this is a kind of a quick summary of how you can communicate with the runner. Cool. Thank you for joining, and probably see you in the next session. Hello all. So this is the last topic on this domain called the demonstrate or the use of the dependent jobs. So we have done this multiple time already on different workflow we had done throughout the tutorials. So I'm going to just use one of the tutorial which we had done just to kind of quickly show you what it is. So the use of the kind of dependent job is something we have done when we run the Terraform plan apply workflow. So if we just quickly take a look, so if you go to the jobs, there are different kind of jobs. There are two types of job: Terraform plan, and there is a Terraform apply. And then you can see Terraform apply needs Terraform plan to run. So that's how Terraform apply is dependent of Terraform plan. You can have as many jobs as you like. So you can have one more job which relies on the Terraform apply, or you can have Terraform apply is waiting for Terraform validation as well as the plan to run. So you can have a multiple jobs here, which wait for this one job to run or two jobs to run. So when you have jobs like this, we just quickly see what it looks like on the browser. So let's take a look on our previous jobs. Here, just take a look at this one. So you see, so Terraform plan is linked with the Terraform apply, and this is the second step. This is the first step. So yeah, this is how you have different jobs relies on the other job to finish running. So yeah, we're not going to run a practical demonstration because we already have run that. I think we have run it that in a different one of the different step as well. So yeah, that's it on this tutorial. Hopefully see you in the next one. Thank you for joining.